Hey guys, Irony Troll here from DGA Australia Oceanic. Just want to give you guys another update on some things. So, I noticed that throughout the 12 months we've been running these worlds, we noticed that the civic system is something that a lot of people sort of gloss over. So, what I want to do today is I just want to let you guys know about the way the government currently works, okay? Like how people get elected and that sort of stuff, what positions are available and what their responsibilities are, and just give you guys a sort of relationship between world leadership and, basically getting things done. So I'll break this down into two parts for you. I'll explain to you guys how the system is intended to work at the moment, because we know that intent doesn't always result in what we want, but we try. So I'll give you the breakdown of what the intent is, and then I will tell you what the current elections are about. Now, the elections are current as of today, at the production of this video. I think the elections go for another, I think it's about 12 hours or so. But I'll run this through with you guys because I'd love for you to participate in the civic system and have your say and your vote. So, let's get into it. Number one, the current system that we actually have is we have a singular government, okay, and a singular government sort of takes control of the world. Okay, now that was the intent from the beginning, that the government would have complete control over the entire world. What we do then is we break it down and we have individual governments. So, not completely different governments, but more so sort of semi-independent areas, shall we say. So we have the world government, which is basically the world, which is fine. Okay, when we go to our districts, we've got the city here. Okay, the city itself actually has a mayor. Okay, and that's the Bathurst mayor. Okay, the city of Bathurst. That's the name we all come up with. Bathurst City has a mayor, and the mayor is responsible for managing the city itself. Okay, so making sure that the players in this area have access to, for example, have access to water, have access to sewage, have access to electricity, tool repairs, all sorts of things. Probably should cover some of that in another video. Actually, you know what? I'm going to try something different today. I'm going to tie in some of the mayor responsibilities in this video for you guys. So let me tell you what the mayor of Bathurst is actually responsible for. Now, I'm not going to walk around. I'm actually going to just cheat and fly around because there's a lot of stuff to cover in such a short time. So let's get cracking. Under the roads, under the streets themselves, you might not know, depending on where, there is actually a pipe network that runs underground. There it is. So we actually have a pipe network under the ground to supply water to the city. Now, obviously, it's not entirely complete. It's a work in progress. However, there is a pipe network planned underwater. So this should allow players access to that particular water. So basically, the city doesn't pump the water. The city just basically has the pipes that connect to water over here. And then players must put the pumps on their properties to get stuff to happen. And of course, if they choose to, at the moment, I know these buildings aren't hooked up to the pipe network for sewage, but they have the option to do that. We can dump the sewage in a more ecologically sound manner. That's a work in progress. I'll continue on. So we actually have a Bathurst metals shop. Now, metal production is a very, very important thing in the world. For those of you who have played Eco for God knows how long, you know that metal, particularly iron and steel, are pretty much used for like 80% of the gameplay post the Iron Age. So iron tools, steel tools, modern tools all require steel and iron. Half of the building materials, reinforced concrete, flat steel, lumber, they all require metal. Now, we have a government incentivized shop here, and the shop basically buys the ore and the crushed ore and the concentrate, turns it into bars, and sells the bars. Now, I'm not going to go into how the pricing structure works on this video because it is quite complicated. Actually, I'll take that back. It's not complicated. It's just a lot to explain, and I really want to move on because there's a lot of things to cover. So, the mayor of Bathurst is responsible for managing this store, making sure it's working. They might obviously put a job in to produce, for example, iron bar, and then they might do a contract for no, not a contract. Sorry, what am I talking about? A work party for that particular job. I'm not going to do that now. That's a story for another time. So they also have responsibility over tool repairs. Now each town will have a tool repair shop. They basically have a shop where you can sell the bars for an extraordinary price, by the way, absolutely extortionate for the government, and everybody has access to repair their tools here. So if you actually have a look at the storage tab, the player has access to the storage, and I'm pretty sure this one does. Let me just, because I'm the mayor, this might not work, but it does. Because I'm the mayor, it lets me do it. If I wasn't the mayor, it wouldn't let me do it. But normal players who aren't the mayor, cannot actually take iron bars from the property. However, they have complete legal access to use the store to repair their tools. Click, no worries. So they get access to the tool repair shop, and the mayor is responsible for managing that. What else have we got? There is also a vehicle depot. I think you guys understand the basic principle of where I'm going with this. There's a bunch of stores in the city that the mayor is responsible for managing. They have a big job to do. They have to organise electricity, they have to organise pipe networks. Harmless is off his feet with lots and lots and lots of work, and mind you, lots and lots and lots of feedback. So he's responsible for that. Now, we have other mayors here. We have Crossroads, we have South Cape. These are just additional towns in the world. So we have a township down here called Crossroads. I think you guys can work out why it's called Crossroads. Crossroads is our farming community. Okay, so there are a bunch of obviously farming zones, and you know it is encouraged that people manufacture crops, food here, and that sort of stuff. It by itself has a mayor who is only recently elected. The position's only just come up, and they will be responsible for the same thing, making sure the roads are planned out, making sure the tool repairs there, and whatever other incentives that the mayor wants to negotiate with the federal government are available. We also have South Cape down here, which is another city, or becoming city, and same sort of principle applies. There's a mayor responsible for this region. Now, we have a large world. We have a 7.5 kilometre world here, so distance between places is quite lengthy. We obviously have a player has responsibility to manage that area. And it's not a matter of telling the citizens what to do, it's a matter of assisting the citizens who live there and work there to be able to excel and succeed. And we're going to have another township come up soon. We're going to have another mayoral position. So, to get to the crux of what I'm trying to say, we have a singular government, which is the federal government at the top, and we have mayors who operate under the government. And the mayor is basically like an ad hoc employee of the federal government, and they basically just do the bidding of the federal government. In this particular instance, they look after the townships. When it comes to elections and voting, the current law system, or the current constitution, I'm just going to go to it really quickly. Here's our constitution. Now, our constitution very clearly says that basically Bathurst residents, this is entirely, yes, so to propose an election you must be a resident of the city. Okay, so the city itself is here, so you must be a resident of the city, have your house here and get your house score from here, but you can conduct your activities anywhere else you want, but your house must be in the city. That will allow you to propose an election of any type. Then when it does go to an election, it is voted on by the citizens. Now, the definition of a citizen is the same thing. Basically, if your residency is inside, one of those townships, or the city, preferably the city, you are able to then vote on that election. Now, there's another clause in here. I know you guys might see this. Governor General may do this immediately. When we look at the hierarchy structure of the elected titles, you'll notice we have a Governor General and we have a Prime Minister. So a Prime Minister and a Governor General are essentially identical positions. They are the same. But the reason we just sort of separated Governor General is because as an admin, if there is something that needs to be fixed in the world, I'm just able to do that without using admin commands. Now, as the person who is most proficient with the laws, who has the most experience with the laws, using them over the last 12 months since the 9.0 release, it just gets a lot easier for myself and whoever else is Governor General at the time. As you can see, Maverick has also been Governor General, to be able to fix any sort of issues that may arise. So we have a system where obviously laws are proposed. Sometimes we don't program them correctly. It's all just practice. We're not perfect the first time. The Governor General can just fix it, all right? Fix it without going to a 24-hour election. Outside of that, Governor General, Prime Minister, same thing. The Crossroads mayors, the mayors are responsible for the townships. The Prime Minister is responsible for helping the mayors and getting the mayors the resources that they need to be able to succeed in what it is they're trying to achieve with their region. So, hopefully that clears up the current system for you guys. Hopefully that makes it a lot easier for you guys to understand the breakdown structure of, who's allowed to vote, who's allowed to propose, that sort of stuff. It really is a system designed to reward the players and give the players more power when the players do the things that we're trying to achieve. Now, in our world, the thing we're trying to achieve is we're trying to build a city that rivals that of White Tiger. Now, I know you guys at White Tiger are fantastic, but you're also in Europe and you guys get a lot more players and a lot more opportunity, but we also have 30-day games. This is a long-term world. We have no intention of resetting unless we absolutely have to due to some kind of emergency. So we want this to be long-term, relatively meteor-free would be good until such a time as we decide to end it, which is not going to happen for a very long time. We are dedicated to keeping this server running. We want to build a city. The best way to build a city is to encourage players to move into the city. Hence why when they move into the city, we let them vote. Okay, it's just a little part and parcel. So just to also add on to this, I think I might not have extenuated it well enough. There are two levels of government here. There is a federal government that looks after the world. There are the mayors that look after each individual town. They're two different layers. So the federal government taxes everybody, okay, through the taxation. So tax obviously affects everybody. That's just a given. But then the wealth is distributed to those townships through actions, okay, through those stores. I'll get into that, I think, in another video. The system that we are proposing to move to right now with the current elections. Let me just go through this. We have a lot of positions for mayor. We've got a prime minister election at the moment, Bathurst mayor. Look, guys, I can't do everything. I would love for some more participation. I think having more representation and a more diversity of thought in elected positions is amazing. So by all means, if you think you can do it and you think you can run a team and work with people, or maybe you want to build your capability and learn some new things about the game, put yourself in the election to run as a mayor or a prime minister if you think you've got that. Now you can do this by going to one of these ballot boxes and you say enter election, and it will ask you which election you want to participate in. In this case, you might just say I want to be the prime minister, and then you type in your election speech. Okay, give it a crack. You never know. People might vote for you just to help you get the experience or something like that. So, moving on. The system we want to move to. The current system basically allows every citizen to vote. Now, because we find that most people don't know the game that well and they don't use this system, we're using that as a sort of justification to modify this a little bit. So we're going to change it. Well, the proposal is it might go through, it might not, depending on how many votes it gets. We want to change it from that citizen election, where all citizens can vote, to a representative election. And the only people that are eligible to vote in that system are representatives. Now, representatives are made up of the mayors, the prime minister, and the governor general. Now, as you can tell, with great power comes great responsibility. If you're the mayor, it doesn't just mean that you can vote and that's it. You must look after the township. Okay, so there's a bit of a give and take there. Additionally, just in the event there are some people who like to vote but aren't really interested in running the town, we may or may not have just added a little thing here called a political interest. This is a title I can give anybody they ask that enables them to vote. However, if you have this title and you don't vote, it will be taken off you. So definitely use it. But But yeah, there's the current system, and then the new system that we're proposing. For this to work, we need as many people as possible. So the representative election here, it says here, if 51% of all voters, which are representatives, vote, yes or no, then the election immediately finishes and it passes based on its result. So if there's 3 representatives in the world, that means that 2 people vote yes, and the law passes. This is if this law passes, right? Don't get confused. This current election is the current process. If this election goes through, what I'm talking about is that then elections will be representative based. So obviously, you don't really want 3 people in power. Now, if you prefer for there to be 3 people in power, by all means, okay, don't join the election and don't encourage other people to join an election or become a mayor or something like that. This is designed to get people interested in the civic system, and hopefully it'll do that by opening up the game a bit more and sort of encouraging people to take up positions, try it out, have their say. Let me know what you guys think. Give it a crack. I'm rambling on like a Looney Tune right now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.